We'll probably have a few more people. Probably a few more people will be joining in a couple of minutes, but we're going to start recording now. Y buenas tardes. No puedo decir buenas noches. I cannot say buenas noches anymore for our start time. Hay mucha luz. We've got lots of light. So, you know, buenas tardes. Y bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Espero que ustedes estén bien. I hope you guys are all well. Before I forget, Scottsdale has asked all people in instruction mode to remind everybody that this coming Monday, which is that?
May 2nd?
May 2nd, Monday is going to be the first day for registration if you are a resident of Scottsdale. If you are a non-resident signing up for summer classes, then Tuesday is the first day of registration. But Monday will be the first day for summer session registration for all the classes that you take. So now we've done that. para que todos sepan, so everybody knows. So whatever classes you're looking to sign up, if you've got, you know, some that you know have limits, set your tabs up to do that. I believe it is 8 o'clock still, 8 o'clock online. On Monday it will start, so do that bright and early if you know you have some classes to sign up for that have participant limits. That often can be an issue for folks. Okay, a ver, vamos a empezar. We're going to start un poquito de todo. We've got a little bit of everything today. We've got some listening comprehension where you didn't get a chance to do prep ahead of time. We've got some where you did get a chance to do prep ahead of time. We've got an assignment for the coming week, which will be a listening comprehension video and kind of a mini game that you're going to prepare and we will actually do on our own next week. And we're going to talk some culture stuff. It's kind of grammar, but it's not exactly grammar. It's more like, how do we express this idea so it does not sound pushy and bad? I guess I could say things that are culturally appropriate. Okay, vamos a empezar. We're going to start, and I want to show first our video from last week on la limpieza, just in case you have any questions about what these folks were talking about. David y Ana, la limpieza, cleaning. We had some accompanying questions, but I have pre-printed them on some Google Slides, so you'll see those when our conversation time comes. Is there any section through here from the video from David y Ana, anything from that that you didn't understand, even though you have the transcript? Any kind of vocabulary or anything they used in that video that you say, I didn't totally get this part? ¿Hay alguna, en otras palabras, hay alguna pregunta? Bueno, Jan.
You know, in general, I found this difficult. It's like I understood it, kinda, but not the little nuances. You know, when they have a little joke or something, it's like I understood they were talking about cleaning and they were talking about mops and they were talking about rags and, you know, nobody had a clothes dryer and you wash, you know, the plates by hand. But I also felt like there was, and I can't be specific, and I should have been, you know, sentences where I really didn't grok what they were saying. They were saying something about cleaning, and I got the bit, okay, you're talking about cleaning, but, you know, and then you look up the words, but it's kind of a different meaning when you put all these words together.
So that is true.
You know, so
why they provide us with the transcripts, but I am going to show one item. Y gracias, Juanita. Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I may be bringing up the rear end of the class.
No, it's not. No, that's okay. So now I don't expect you ever, I mean, these are great to listen to for listening comprehension because they talk as normal people would talk in a one-on-one conversation. You know, it's very mundane, everyday, well, depending on the topic, you know, sometimes they get into cultural topics that are really like history or something that's kind of deep. But for things like this that are everyday things, they use a lot of words that you would expect people to use if you were talking to somebody just off the street. Let's take a look at a couple of things. And I've got a couple of photos. And I may or may not be hitting the mark. So if you've got a question beyond this, let me know. Primero aquí, sí. Frase del día. They always have a phrase of the day, right? Estar rechinando de limpio. It's squeaky clean. It's squeaking from being clean. That's just an expression that is used. So that's what we've got up top here. Estar, tu casa está rechinando de limpio. You know, your house is like spick. Oh, we might say spick and span, but we'd be more likely to say squeaky clean. That rechinando thus means that kind of squeaky clean. Okay. One thing she talked about too, and I think Anna brought this up, was that there are a lot of different types of verb phrases, and you can see these in the where a la izquierda on the left. Formas de decir to clean the house, ways of saying clean the house. So, hacer la limpieza, limpiar la casa, hacer el quehacer. Quehacer is a chore. And, you know, the daily care of your house is seen as a chore. So, hacer el quehacer is doing the chore, but it means like the normal household stuff. Los quehaceres just means chores, and it would mean things you do around your house in a normal, ho-hum, everyday kind of sense, okay? Hacer las labores del hogar, and again, hogar is a special word, more specific than casa. Hogar, H-O-G-A-R, hogar is a home, not just a house, uninhabited. El hogar is a formal term that people, not just in Mexico, but all of the Spanish-speaking world, use to refer to the home, meaning your hearth, your the fact that this is an inhabited space, okay? Your hearth and home as opposed to just a house, okay? Hacer las tareas del hogar. Tareas, again, are tasks or chores. And the one that you may not think about, levantar la casa. Levantar means to lift up. And this is part where they were kind of doing a tongue-in-cheek joke. Oh, you know, was this, and one of the little jokes he did make, or that somebody said to, I'm not sure who said it to, eres Hercules, Hercules, are you Hercules? Like, wow, lift up the house, big strong man. So that was kind of a tongue-in-cheek reference to, does levantar la casa mean you're lifting up the whole house? How is that possible? And they just say, no, this is just kind of a colloquial term, levantar la casa, raise the house. That means you're cleaning and doing a real thorough cleaning, you know, as you can imagine. You know, recoger is to pick up, and alzar, you know, picking up. So those are some special chores. One other thing term they used was this term on the right, a la derecha. A la derecha, dice, it says, dice, llevar consigo, llevar consigo. And llevar is a verb we'll kind of come back to in another session pretty soon, between now and end of May. Llevar means, many things. In Spain, they use it to mean wear clothing. Not so much in Mexico, but, you know, llevar means to carry, transport, pick something up and move it from some place to another. Llevar can mean to take somebody to a different location, like in your car. Llevar can mean to bring something literally to a house because you're carrying that thing with you. But llevar consigo means literally carries with it. And so here was a sense they used this, and they were talking about aspiradoras. ¿Qué son? Definición, a definition. ¿Qué son aspiradoras? What are aspiradoras?
Vacuum cleaners.
Vacuum cleaners.
Vacuum cleaners. Okay. And they said, aquí no tenemos tanto las aspiradoras. Here we don't have vacuum cleaners so much like you guys do. Okay, because of the nature of the flooring in a typical Mexican house, which would typically be tile or wood or, you know, something more hard surfaced rather than wall-to-wall carpet. Okay, and often we have more houses here in the United States that are accustomed to wall-to-wall carpet. Therefore, almost every estadounidense, almost every US person has a vacuum cleaner, but not necessarily in Mexico because of the tile flooring that is more common there. So, llevar consigo, and they give us a little definition here. Esto significa que dos cosas están relacionadas. This indicates, this means that two things are related. Por ejemplo, decimos, las alfombras llevan consigo las aspiradoras. Alfombras, rugs or carpeting, bring with them vacuum cleaner. Meaning, where you have rugs, you also have
Vacuum cleaners.
vacuum
Yeah.
cleaners for the purpose of cleaning. But because they don't have that alfombra issue to the extent that we do, they don't necessarily own, not everybody, a vacuum cleaner, you know, aspiradora. Okay, significa, and under our bullet, we've got significa que si tienes alfombra, también tienes aspiradora. This means that if you've got a rug, if you've got carpet, you've got a vacuum. Okay, lleva consigo if that you've got the two, right? One, in other words, one follows the other. This literally brings with it the other, meaning this means you need this other component. Okay. Otro ejemplo, aprender otro idioma lleva consigo conocer la cultura. Learning another language brings with it getting to know, becoming familiar with the culture. Okay. Sometimes instead of using llevar, they may use traer to express the same thing. And that word consigo just means with it. So in other words, it brings with it, which we could say in English, I guess. Ser adulto trae consigo muchas libertades, pero también muchas responsabilidades. Being an adult brings with it, or, you know, indicates that you've got a lot of freedoms, but also a lot of responsibilities. So some of their little back and forth was this joking about levantar la casa, lift up the whole house. Wow, you Hercules. And no, it's not that extreme. It's just a way we have of saying doing a thorough house cleaning. Okay.
But we have the expression here, pick up the house, though it doesn't mean necessarily a thorough house cleaning, depending on who's giving the order.
Eso es.
Yeah, it just means to tidy up, pick things
Yeah.
up. You know,
Tidy up,
doesn't-
yeah. And we would in English use different things, but it's some similar, some not. Yeah, tidy, pick up.
Yeah.
So all of that. Now there was another word they referred to, however, because the aspiradora thing is not so omnipresent as it is in the United States. They talked about trapear. Trapear is to mop. To mop. Okay. And a trapo is a rag. That's not a very glamorous word, or a rag, you know. I don't know about you. My rags are things that have been worn out. You know, after several years, it's the rag pile, right?
They're rags.
Yeah, they're rags. They're not, you don't want company to see that. Yeah, rags. But beyond trapo, meaning a rag, which it does, they use the term ferga. And ferga actually has another meaning. The first time I ever saw the word ferga, it meant slang. Slang, like raining cats and dogs, you know, that expression being a slang kind of expression. Ferga also has one meaning linguistically, but ferga es un tipo de trapo. It's a type of a rag. And they showed you a picture, but just to show, if you Googled ferga, and actually I didn't mean to, I think it came up as fabric. Ferga, this is what you get. That thing they showed you with the stripes, they're not kidding.
Yeah.
You know, these are ferga materials, and a ferga is specifically used for your floor. So a ferga will not typically be used in all parts of the house, you know, for scrubbing down things, let's say inside the tub. But you can even buy ferga by the yard. Good Lord. Who would have thought? Now that was a new one on me. You can buy ferga by the yard in the pattern and color of the shirt, as long as it's striped. Con patrón de rayas with striped pattern. So yeah, this ferga thing that's a thing, but it's kind of, you know, very zeroed down to it's your floor mop. It's your floor mop rag. Así es. Okay. Bien. Vale. Okay. Are there any segments of that particular video that you really want me to go over and define certain things, or no?
I have a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, let's take Pat first, and we'll take you, Karen.
Who first?
Pat first. See.
Oh, there was a section in there where Anna's talking about washing dishes and so forth, and she's in Mexico. And then she talks about in Argentina, you know, she was saying they call it these two different words, but in Argentina, the people laughed. Is that what they were trying to say?
Yes, they were.
It means something else. So when I looked up that, it said backside, like you're washing someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was supposed to
So
go.
maybe, Juanita, is this one of the things that?
Yeah, where I looked at, it's like, okay, I missed the joke. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the joke. They thought, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't quite sure.
That was definitely the source of a joke, but it was actually a joke between two different cultures that use the same language. You know, they share the same language, but and I'm looking for
I don't know where it is.
that is.
Yeah, Anna's saying that.
Sí, así es. Perdón.
We couldn't get this in English.
Trapeado, no. Aquí. Okay. So let's go through some of this, because actually the word for dishwasher, so let's back it up to this a little bit. Actually in Spain, when I was in Spain, people had a dishwasher, which by the way was not common back there, but this was a long time ago, and I haven't been in a home, an actual home as opposed to a hotel in Spain in a long time. But lavaplatos is what they all call it. Lavaplatos, dishwasher. Okay. Okay. A ver, let's take a look. Vamos a ver.
Sí, tiene
Ojalá
cómo limpiamos
doing a
nuestros pisos
squeegee
aquí.
thing.
Pero también hay algunas diferencias en otras cosas. Por ejemplo, limpiar la cocina. Para empezar, yo puedo pensar, no sé tú, en dos diferencias, al menos con nuestros vecinos de Estados Unidos. Una es que nuestras estufas casi siempre son de gas.
Nuestras estufas casi siempre son de gas. Our stoves are almost always
Yes.
Gas stoves. Okay.
Que allá también yo sé que existen. Las estufas eléctricas no son muy comunes aquí.
Para nada.
Estufas eléctricas no son muy comunes aquí. Electric stoves aren't so common here. Okay.
Muy, muy pocas.
Entonces, si tú has visto una estufa eléctrica, sabes que hay más lugares en donde la basura de la comida se puede acumular. Tienes que quitar la cobertura de metal y muchas veces tienes que quitar las hornillas y tallar con
Hay que quitar las hornillas. You got to take off these burner racks. Yeah. Y tallar. And tallar is also a special word that I don't think they really define. Tallar is like fregar. Fregar is used for scrub, but fregar also has a slang meaning amongst many Mexicans, which means to annoy somebody. Because when you annoy somebody, you rub them the wrong way. Yeah. So tallar is also another verb that means to scrub it down. Tallar. So quitar las hornillas y tallar. You've got to take off those burners, the metal parts of it, and scrub down.
una esponja toda la suciedad de la estufa. Es bastante complicado limpiar una estufa así, en mi opinión, contra una eléctrica que prácticamente con un solo trapo
Plano.
lo limpias y es plano.
Una gran parte de todo lo que pasa en la cocina, obviamente es la comida, pero es todo lo que utilizas para preparar la comida y después para consumirla. Estamos hablando de platos, ollas, trastes en general, cubiertos. Hay 1000 cosas en la cocina y creo que
And this word trastes is used a lot in Mexico, not so much in Spain, but in Mexico, to talk about all of your silverware, all of your dishes, all of your glasses, everything that is used for everything that you eat off of. Trastes, okay? Or like we would say, wash the dishes. Well, that means that you're washing all the silverware, the dishes, the glasses, it's the whole, the whole ball wax, right?
no es por nada
Right.
que gastamos mucho dinero en utensilios de cocina, ¿no? Y obviamente cada que haces una comida tienes que limpiar estos utensilios, ¿no?
Yeah, everything that you use, you've got to clean all these utensils.
Un gran problema en México, según mi opinión, es que no tenemos mucho la costumbre de tener lavavajillas.
Y aquí lavavajillas, instead of a lavaplatos, dishwasher, in Mexico you hear more this term, which means the same device, a dishwasher, lavavajillas, because vajillas, again, is one of the words that you use for the whole thing of all the items that you consume your food off of or drink out of or, stab it with to put it in your mouth. Lavavajillas es dishwasher. Okay.
Son un poco caras, pero no tan caras como otros utensilios. Simplemente, no sé, no estamos tan acostumbrados, no está tanto en nuestra cultura, ¿no?
Y por lo mismo, nuestras casas no están hechas para eso.
Our houses aren't made for this. So what she means is that they don't create a space in your kitchen to just build in a dishwasher as a general rule. Most people don't, the average person on the street will not necessarily have a lavavajillas, a dishwasher. And, of course, your outlet to plug it into, your piping and, connection hoses to pump in the water. It's just not built in to get that installed necessarily.
Es decir, que cada vez que tú te mudas o que compras una casa,
Ujú.
no hay un espacio para el lavavajillas. Si tú
There's not even a space for it.
quisieras
in a
hacerlo,
typical
tendrías
kitchen.
que cortar una parte de tu cocina para
Ujú.
ponerlo ahí, entonces se vuelve mucho más caro.
Sí, es por eso que queda muy claro que para nuestra cultura no está tan en la mente este tema del lavavajillas. Entonces, todo el lavado de platos y eso, pues se hace a mano, ¿no?
So, se hace a mano, it's done by hand, ¿sí? Se hace a mano.
Es un tema que siempre está ahí constante, como en las reuniones y todo eso. Sabes que va a haber muchísimos platos. Es común que mucha gente en nuestra cultura de repente se para y cuando te das cuenta ya está en tu cocina lavando los platos.
Lavando tus platos.
Y se ve, es como ambivalente porque se ve bien que alguien decida ayudar, pero por otra parte el dueño o el que está dando la fiesta dice, no, 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 ¿cómo crees? Tú eres
Deja,
invitado.
deja.
Okay, so now there he's talking about a little cultural thing of, wow, it's really nice to help with the dishes if you're at a big party, right? Help clean up. But the host or hostess is going to feel a little conflicted because while she would love to have the help, she doesn't want to make the guests work. Yeah. No, right? You know, you're likely to get an initial rejection. So if you want to help with the dishes, it would be welcome, but you have to kind of insist, because, you know, she'll feel like she's being a bit poor hostess if she just accepts it immediately.
Siempre va a haber esa conversación, siempre la
Siempre.
vas a escuchar. Y si eres un buen anfitrión mexicano, siempre vas a decir, deja por favor, tú eres el invitado.
If you're a good hostess, you're going to say, deja por favor, tú eres el invitado. Stop, please, you're the guest. So somebody, a good hostess will always feel she must say, oh, no help, deja, stop, deja, stop it, por favor, please. You are the guest. No, you're not here to do the work. It is, you know, it is my job because I am the hostess.
Invitado. Entonces, si tú quieres lucirte con un mexicano, puedes ir a su cocina y lavar sus platos.
So si quieres lucir, lucir means literally to show something off or to light up. Oh, if you want to get brownie points, quieres lucir. If you want to stand out as I'm an excellent person, that's what lucir doesn't have a real good translation, right? Luce means you stand out, you are showy, you are showing something off. You want to stand out as a super great person, you'll go and really help and you'll insist on helping with those dishes. Okay.
Y antes de pasar a otro tema, ahorita que estabas diciendo platos, vasos, recuerdo una anécdota que me contaron mis papás. Mis papás
And here it
tienen
comes.
amigos de diferentes partes del mundo hispanohablante, ¿no? A diferencia de nosotros que no conocemos mucha gente. Y algo muy chistoso es que para nosotros trastes o trastos en
Ujú.
México significa todo esto, los platos,
So trastes. Trastes,
diferentes partes del mundo hispanohablante,
you want to get the little
Nosotros
picture. Quiero
para-
el dibujo.
servir comida.
So, okay, trastes is all of the stuff that you use at a table setting. Okay, los vasos, las ollas, the pots and pans, los platos, tenedores, cuchillos, cucharas, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Everything you lay on the table to eat with is considered trastes. Okay, and when she says el conjunto de cosas para servir comida, the set or the complete set of things used to serve food. Los trastes. En Mexico se dice los trastes. This is a word that is commonly used to talk about all the dishes, but the glasses too, and the silverware too, and the pots and pans too. Okay.
Pero en Argentina no. Entonces hay una historia de que una vez unos mexicanos dijeron, yo te ayudo a lavar los trastos. Y los
Okay. So her parents had some guests from Argentina who came. Yo te ayudo a lavar los trastes.
argentinos estaban riendo muchísimo porque trastes o trastos, no recuerdo cuál de estas dos palabras, significa trasero.
Okay. Trasero, trastes, they found very similar to their word for. Right. Trasero is your behind. But it is not a vulgar way of saying you're behind. Trasero would mean your backside. Oh, it would be like us saying your backside. So they found that choice of words. Yeah, funny. It was an inside joke. They both speak Spanish, but wow, we use that word to talk about somebody's rear end. Not in a vulgar way, but they just found that very funny. So there was that, Pat. See, bien. Karen, ¿qué más?
Yes, okay, and I mean, you kind of touched on this actually, but there was a section, and I think it's toward the end, where they were talking about washing clothes by hand, I think. And it was tu tallas tu ropa, le pergues contra esas ondas. Something to do with waves. So is that like using a scrub board that had wavy metal on it or something? But they didn't really
Right. It's
say all
kind of
those
a,
words.
well, and it tends to be, I believe, kind of stone. Now, I've not actually,
They
I
do say
can't actually even say that I've seen one of these, but yeah. I believe he did show a picture, but I don't know if I'm going
Oh.
I
to.
was tried to translate it, and it comes up as
Yeah.
hit them
So what,
against the waves, and there weren't, I mean, waves doesn't make,
but it's kind of a, it's a scrub board, but not the kind of scrub board that you might see in our old American movies of like this wooden
yeah,
thing with
not
slats.
not a washboard, so to
These
speak.
are
like,
things, and it's generally like two bins, well, I don't want to, yeah,
show
well,
us.
bins, two sort of raised platforms, like they're raised sinks in a way, but they're shallow sinks. They're kind of like two wash tubs. And people literally scrub down clothes in these, and one is for the scrubbing side and one is for the rinsing side. And you know, that's what is used in a lot of places. Of course, now a lot of people do, whereas the lavavajillas, the dishwasher is not very common. You know, clothes washers are more common, but maybe not necessarily a clothes dryer. So that's why they were talking so much about hanging clothes, because
Right, but hitting them against the waves, you know, I mean, do they mean like, well, if I'm washing something by hand and I have a basin of you know, water with soapy water, you might, you know, up and down it. I mean,
yeah, it's just that it's kind of like, I guess you could compare it to the old movies of American old movies in the Old West of people beating clothes in the stream,
Yeah.
you know, against rocks and stuff.
eat it on a
Well,
rock, yeah.
if you're, yeah, I mean, it's apparently a very hard surface, and you know, this is what people use for washing down clothes. You know, literally beating the clothes on something very hard surface to beat all the dirt out of it.
Right.
So there you
Okay,
go.
and then there was another part that we're talking about hanging clothes, and maybe you don't have your own clothesline, so you have to, you know, share one, but you don't want people to see your dainties. So they had a cage or something like that.
Yeah, sí,
I
una
didn't
jaula.
quite get
Una
that.
jaula. So some people do really have, I would say that whole thing of hanging clothes is done a lot. I used to see that done a great deal in Spain. Also, people don't have much of a hang up. They're joking about how you get used to seeing your neighbor's underwear,
Mhm.
because everybody hangs. You know, the whole thing of having a secadora, a dryer, is not as common. So in any event, there's a lot of hanging clothes, and una jaula, a cage. So, you know, you have little setups that might be literally a wire type or metal bar kind of rack. And she did say some people even lock things inside. She was talking
Yeah,
about having a lock.
I couldn't picture it, you know.
I can't picture that either, but apparently there is some way you can kind of have a cage but have it open, but have a little door that will actually close it, so that people don't steal your clothes. And if you ever in your college years had your clothes stolen from the fun little dorm laundries where, you know, you didn't get down and pick up your clothing and somebody took your clothes out, I know that used to happen on occasion with us in our university days. Well, apparently the same thing will happen. So some people apparently jerry-rig these things a little bit so that they can lock up some clothes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like a picture.
I
It's
don't
not
have
like
a
a
picture.
drying rack, is it? I mean,
It is like a drying rack. Yeah, it is like a drying
Okay.
rack.
Like,
But it's just enclosed. So it looks like a cage.
like fences around a square.
Sí,
cubicle.
eso, sí. Ok, bien. ¿Hay otra pregunta o no? ¿Hay otra pregunta?
there was just one point where she mentioned la sociedad.
Suciedad.
Yeah, and
Suciedad is just dirtiness.
it's dirtiness.
Dirt.
Oh.
Dirt. Suciedad. Sucia. Mi casa está muy sucia. My house is dirty. Sucia, dirty. Yeah. Suciedad means dirt. The quality of dirtiness, for lack of a better term.
I thought it was society. She was talking about.
No,
Society.
if you turned on the closed caption, this is where closed caption can
Yeah, it probably didn't.
hear you wrong. Sometimes
Okay.
they put up, I noticed that when I listened to it, they put in the word sociedad, but what they really should have typed in there, what the algorithm did not recognize it as suciedad. Suciedad is dirt, okay? Suciedad is the noun for sucio or sucia, okay?
Okay.
Dirty, dirty. Mi carro está muy sucio, mi cocina está muy sucia, okay? La ropa está muy sucia. All that is talking about dirty, the state it's in, but suciedad is dirt. And in a good Mexican home, that idea of suciedad, that is a much softer word. Mugre is a word that you hear a lot. And my students who had Hispanic grandmas, abuelitas, would always talk about mugre. Oh, abuela is always on the mugre, 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 yeah. Dirt everywhere, you know. Mugre is a stronger term, filth. Mugre is more like saying filth, whereas suciedad is a little more softer pedal term. Not as strong as saying mugre. Mugre is like, bleh, gross dirtiness, mugre. But mugre is used a lot. Okay, bueno.
Okay.
Hay más preguntas. Any other questions, the little things you had to have sorted out, transferred, translated a little bit more, sí o no? No? Ok. Bien. Vale, vamos a practicar un poquito. We're going to take a look at some discussions here. Vamos a hablar en español ahora sobre la manera de limpiar la casa, limpiar la ropa, lo que sea, a limpiar en general. La verdad es que, sí, para mí, limpiar el baño, limpiar la cocina, limpiar la ropa, es la cosa que menos me gusta. La cosa que menos me gusta hacer para mí. Odio los quehaceres, odio las tareas asociadas con limpiar. No sé por qué, pero simplemente no me gusta limpiar. Bueno, pero, por ejemplo, cuando era estudiante en la universidad, un momentito, voy a mover la posición de la pantalla aquí. Cuando era estudiante en la universidad, una buena amiga, muy buena amiga mía, ella le encantaba limpiar. Yo, para mí, era algo que yo odiaba muchísimo y ella estaba muy contenta siempre. Ah, puedo limpiar. ¿Cuánto me gusta? How I love this. ¿Cuánto me gusta? Guy. Y yo no podía entender nunca cómo es posible a disfrutar de un quehacer. Pero tengo así algunas preguntas. Por ejemplo, ¿conoces a alguien a quien le guste limpiar? Do you know somebody who might really like cleaning?
No.
Sí.
¿Cómo es posible? But, okay. Pero bueno, sí. And because I've got my share screen up, I cannot see you guys up now. Okay. Pero pueden ver la pregunta, ¿sí? You need to not nod, but give me a sí. ¿Pueden ver la pregunta? Can you see the question?
Sí.
Sí, bien.
Sí.
Okay. And again, sadly, for some reason, it's not allowing me to see you guys while I've got this on. So, okay. ¿Conocen ustedes a alguien a quien le gusta limpiar, sí o no?
I do. I know
Sí.
someone.
¿Quién es? ¿Quién es?
A mi amiga Mimi le gustaba limpiar.
Wow.
Ella usaba la aspiradora cada día.
Cada
Oh.
día.
Every
Wow.
Le encantaba.
Y le encantaba usar la aspiradora. Bien. Okay. ¿Alguien más? Anybody else? ¿Sí?
Sí.
No.
Kathy.
Sí. Esa amiga mía en la universidad, ella siempre me explicaba, she used to explain to me, porque al terminar la limpieza, todo se ve perfecto. Todo se ve
Sí.
perfecto. Everything looks perfect. Y por
Sí.
eso, ella siempre me decía, she always used to tell me, siempre me decía, y por eso me encanta limpiar, porque todo se ve perfecto al terminar, al acabar con la limpieza. Bueno, ok. ¿Cuál es el quehacer que te gusta menos, hacer cuando limpias? When you do clean, ¿cuál es el quehacer que le gusta menos?
Baños.
Sí.
What's-
Baños.
Baños.
¿Los
lavar
baños?
las ventanas.
Lavar las ventanas, lavar el baño. ¿Algo más?
Lavar el piso.
Ok.
Porque una vez me caí
Me caí.
me rompí mi codo.
Ok, porque cuando limpiamos el piso, el suelo, ¿entienden? Sí, the floor, sí. Y
Sí.
el suelo, el piso está mojado, it's wet, ¿sí?
Ujú.
Es posible caerse.
Oh, sí.
Es muy fácil caerse, ¿no?
Sí. Mi codo está hecho en titanio.
Ay, ok, sí.
Ay.
Es posible dañarse de manera muy grave. It's possible to hurt yourself pretty seriously. Ok. Bueno, para mí, sí, el quehacer que menos me gusta es lavar el retrete, cleaning the toilet. Sí, la cosa que me gusta menos hacer es Lavar limpiar el baño, pero especialmente el retrete. Sí, ahí, terrible. ¿Algo más o no? ¿No? Ok. ¿Cuál es el quehacer que no te molesta tanto? What's the chore that doesn't bother you so much?
Lavar la ropa.
Lavar la ropa, ok,
Y también. Sí, sí.
ok. Lavar la ropa no les molesta mucho. ¿Algo más? ¿Algo diferente?
Yeah, Federico. El quehacer que no me molesta tanto es limpiar mi escritorio.
Limpiar el escritorio, clearing out your desk, cleaning out your desk area. Bien, sí. Eso sí, bien.
Es verdad. ¿Cómo se dice dust? Dust.
Sacudir el polvo, shaking out the dust. Yeah, sí. Eso. Que sí, no me molesta tanto. Bien. ¿Cuál es el producto de limpieza que es el mejor para ti? What is the cleaning product that you just think is great?
I have one. La bona para suelos de madera es el mejor para ti.
Para madera, for wood?
La bona para wood, yes.
Okay. Bien, sí. Para mí hay algún producto y no sé cómo se llama, pero se hace de lodo, they make it out of a clay of some kind, ¿sí? Y se usa para tallar la estufa, que me gusta mucho porque es más fácil tallar. Es como Bonami, ¿sí? Bartender's friend, ¿sí?
Barkeeper's friend, sí.
Barkeeper's friend, sí, se llama Barkeeper's friend, sí.
Yo también.
Y sí, bueno, lo uso, este producto, lo uso para tallar la estufa o el fregadero, your wash tub, your sink, sí, el fregadero, sí. Bien. ¿Hay más productos o no?
Don y agua.
Sí. Bien. Ok. ¿Algo más o no?
Yeah, question.
Sí, dime.
For glass cleaner, can you use limpieza de vaso?
No. Vaso es un vaso. Ok. Pero algo para limpiar el vidrio o las ventanas. So if you talk about glass cleaner that you use on a window, es para lavar la ventana, para lavar el vidrio, glass, de la ventana. ¿Ok? Entonces, hay gran diferencia entre el vaso para beber y el vidrio de la ventana, the glass of a window. Okay, we use the word glass for both items, but they're very different items in Spanish. Vidrio es glass. So a glass, if you have a glass surface, like a glass top that sits on top of your desk, that would be vidrio, not a vaso. Vaso is only what you drink out of.
Got it. Yep. Got
Bien?
it. Yep. I thought something was wrong.
Okay.
Excuse me, Marilyn, how do you
Sí.
spell that? How do you spell that word for glass?
Vidrio, ok. Bueno, un momentito. Voy a escribirlo aquí en chat box. Oh, no tengo que hacerlo. I don't have to do it. I'll put it right up here. Voy a ponerlo aquí. Voy a escribirlo aquí. Vidrio. El vidrio is glass, meaning a surface, right? Or a material. El material es mejor. The material that is glass is el vidrio. El vidrio, right? El vaso means glass para beber. El vaso es solamente para beber. So if you look up glass and you see vaso, that is only the drinking item, the drinking vessel. Pero vidrio es glass, meaning the material, right, in your window. ¿Sí? El vidrio de la ventana. Bien. Buena pregunta. Good question.
Gracias.
Ok. Bueno. A ver. Ok. ¿Cuál es el cuarto más difícil de limpiar y por qué? ¿La cocina?
Sí, de acuerdo.
¿Por qué es difícil?
Use
Para mí
a-
también para mí también el cuarto más difícil de limpiar es mi cocina. ¿Por qué? Tengo una cocina grande, ¿sí? Es un espacio muy grande. Y segundo, porque es difícil, para mí es difícil trapear todo el piso. Es difícil trapear porque es una cocina grande. El piso es muy grande, ¿sí? Y me cuesta mucho, requiere mucho tiempo para trapear el piso. Y la tercera razón, the third reason. Mis hijos y mi esposo no limpian nada en la cocina. Hacen mucho mugre, they make a lot of dirt, ¿sí? They make a lot of slop, mugre, slop, ¿sí? Pero con poca frecuencia limpian. De vez en cuando limpian, pero con poca frecuencia. Bien. ¿Para alguien más? Sí. ¿Otro cuarto? ¿Hay otro cuarto o no?
El baño.
Sí,
El baño es difícil a veces, sí. Si tienes...
el garaje.
¡Oh, el garaje! Sí, es muy difícil. Un garaje es muy grande, ¿sí? Y si tienes que organizar el espacio del garaje, es difícil.
Muchos
Eso.
naranjas.
Sí, eso es. Ok. Bien. Bueno. ¿Qué pregunta tenemos aquí? ¿Quién te ayuda a limpiar? ¿Quién te ayuda a limpiar? Puedo decir, cuando mi hija tiene un invitado, when my daughter has a guest, cuando el invitado es una amiga suya, when the guest is a friend of hers, ¿sí? Entonces, ella me ayuda muchísimo a limpiar. Pero a veces antes de la Navidad, alguien me ayuda un poco. Pero a veces, sí, por ejemplo, mi hermana tiene un pareja que los dos son buenos amigos de ella y el esposo de la pareja, the husband in this couple, el esposo de la pareja es muy fanático a limpiar todo. A él, a este esposo, a este amigo, le gusta muchísimo a limpiar. Y siempre ayuda a limpiar, siempre. ¿Hay alguien que te ayuda a limpiar, sí o no?
Sí.
A veces mi esposo lavaba los platos.
Mi esposo me ayuda cuando arregla la bicicleta. Es muy buen mecánico. Es muy buen mecánico. Siempre arregla y limpia las partes de mi bicicleta de montaña, pero no ayuda a limpiar en casa, dentro de la casa, en la cocina. No. Ok. Y ayuda a limpiar el garaje. Pero eso es. Ok.
Federico me ayuda a limpiar. Su nombre, hombre de la limpieza.
Es hombre de la limpieza. Bien. Fíjense. Espero que ustedes se fijaran. I hope you guys noticed something. Ana se refirió a que hay señoras de limpieza, they are cleaning ladies, pero con muy poca frecuencia hay hombres de limpieza. Hay una excepción. I think there's one exception to that. Quite often that you will hear people referring to un hombre de limpieza if the cleaning man is somebody who is kind of in charge of cleaning a whole office building. Then there will be un hombre de limpieza. People will say, oh, the cleaning man is not coming through the office today. Entonces, sí, hay hombres de limpieza. If it is a business that is a cleaning business for a large office building, you will hear people saying hombre de limpieza, but for a house, generally not. So that's a little cultural difference too. Okay. Bueno, Federico, te aplaudo. I applaud you. Bien. ¿Quién no te ayuda para nada?
Mi hija.
Nadie. Wow. Qué buenas familias tienen ustedes. What good families you have. Okay.
Pero solamente Federico y Juanita vive en esta casa por 2 años durante la pandemia.
Sí, eso es. Ok, sí. Mis hijos no ayudan tanto, ayudan un poco. Y de verdad, mi esposo no me ayuda para limpiar. Me ayuda con cosas mecánicas, que es buena ayuda, pero no ayuda en limpiar. Pero ayuda cuando hay algo que cuando necesitamos arreglar. We need to fix, ¿sí? Pero limpiar, no tanto. Ok. ¿Prefieren ustedes usar un lavavajillas o lavar todo a mano? ¿Cuál prefieren ustedes? ¿Usar un lavavajillas o lavar a mano?
Yo quiero
Alguna
lavar
lavavajillas.
todo.
Lavavajillas, hay alguien
Quiero
que...
lavar todo a mano.
Lavavajillas.
Antes de usar el
Vajilla.
Lava-
Qué palabra larga, ¿no? Lavavajillas.
Sí.
Lavavajillas. Voy a escribir esta otra palabra o el otro término también. I'm going to put the other term that is also heard for lavavajillas, lavaplatos. Es más fácil de pronunciar, ¿no? Lavaplatos. Lavaplatos. Hay menos sílabas. There are fewer syllables. Lavavajillas versus lavaplatos, ¿sí? Yo prefiero usar lavavajillas.
Sí.
Absolutamente. Pero no uso un lavavajillas para lavar o limpiar las ollas. ¿Qué son ollas? ¿Qué son ollas?
Pots.
Pots and pans, sí, pots and pans. Para las ollas, no uso el lavavajillas. No. Todas a mano. Ok. O todas a mano. Ok. Vale. ¿Cuelgas la ropa después de lavarla o usas secadora?
Uso una secadora.
Sí, secadora, según así. Más, sí. ¿Hay alguien que cuelga la ropa? Anybody who hangs their clothes?
No.
¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Sí.
¿No? Bueno, tengo algo interesante para decirles. Aquí en mi pueblo de Fountain Hills, aquí en mi pueblo, es técnicamente contra las reglas de la ciudad. Es verdad.
En Scottsdale también.
No se
No.
puede colgar la ropa técnicamente. Es una violación de las reglas de la ciudad. ¿Qué cosa es eso? Pero no se puede colgar la ropa en el patio técnicamente. You know, if your neighbor wanted you to call you on that, they could call the code people on you. Ay, qué cosa. Bueno, ¿cuáles eran? Which ones were? Y aquí es el pasado, ¿sí? ¿Cuáles eran los electrodomésticos que usaban tu mamá o tu papá? Entonces, ¿cuáles eran los electrodomésticos que sí tenían, that you did have, y cuáles no tenían cuando ustedes eran niños? En mi casa no teníamos lavavajillas. En la casa, cuando yo era niña, no teníamos lavavajillas.
Sí.
Sí.
Mi abuela no tenía secadora.
No.
Mi abuela no tenía secadora. En absoluta, not at all. ¿Sí? Ella siempre colgaba toda la ropa. ¿Y ustedes? You guys?
Same.
Sí.
Siempre.
Ya, también.
¿Sí? ¿Con qué? ¿Con la secadora o qué? ¿O con lavavajillas?
Neither. What? Neither. How do you say neither? Neither.
¿Necesitaban ir? ¿Sí?
We didn't have either.
Ok. ¿Algo más o no? ¿No? Ok.
No.
Bien. Ok. Y en tu barrio, tu colonia, ¿sí? Es común contratar a una señora o un señor de limpieza. ¿Es común o no es común?
Yeah, so.
Es común.
¿Sí? Ana, ¿es común o no? Aquí depende del barrio. Here it depends on the neighborhood. Aquí depende del barrio o de la zona del pueblo. En las casas muy grandes es muy común tener una señora de limpieza. En mi barrio específicamente no es tan común.
En mi casa no está.
Ok, bien,
Sí.
sí. Cuando yo era madre muy joven con mis niños, e iba a la casa de otras mamás con otros niños para que jugaran los niños, for the kids to play, ¿sí? A veces, en algunas casas, sí había una señora de limpieza que porque hay muchas casas muy grandes en mi pueblo. Entonces, las señoras de las casas más grandes, sí, a veces tenían una señora de limpieza, pero muchas veces una señora que venía una vez o digamos un día cada semana. Alguien que venía, who used to come, un día a la semana, ¿bien? ¿Entienden?
Sí.
Que no tenían una señora de limpieza todos los días en la casa, sino quizás el miércoles venía la señora de limpieza o el viernes venía la señora de limpieza. ¿Entienden? ¿Verdad? Sí.
La pregunta.
Sí, dime.
How would you say every other week?
I would-
Cada 8 semanas.
Oh,
You know.
sí, creo que hay un término. Creo que hay un término. Cualquier. Sí. A ver, busco técnicamente porque no he usado, sí, ese término en muchísimo tiempo. Muchas veces cada 15 días, every other week, sí, porque 15 días, 15 days is the term often used to say 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Oddly enough. So
Yeah.
cada 15 días, every other week. Okay. O una semana sí, otra no. Pero cada 15 días sería muy común. Every 15 days would be a very common way to express that because it would be every 2 weeks,
Right.
which is every other week, right? Sí.
Yeah, sí.
Okay.
Gracias.
Pero no diría cada otra semana. I don't think you would ever hear somebody saying cada otra semana. Cada 15 días, every other week would be once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Bueno, buena pregunta. Gracias, Susana. ¿Otra pregunta más o no? No. Okay. Lo que vamos a hacer, what we're going to do now, I promised you an impromptu, an impromptu listening, something you didn't have a chance to listen to before. But we're going to use this as an off the cuff to see how much you understand. You're going to hear a lot of imperfecto. Okay? Because it's going to be talking about what this person was like as a kid. So this is kind of our wrap-up review of hearing about that. And we'll stop it every once in a while where I think that maybe it might not be easy. If I think there's something that wasn't easy to understand. And
¿Quién eres?
we're going to put in those captions.
Tu madre.
Vale, pues hoy mi madre nos va a hablar de cómo yo era de pequeño.
My mom's going to talk with us about what I was like de pequeño, as a little kid. This is the really common way to phrase. It's not the only way, but one way to say when I was little. De pequeño or de niño would be the two ways you would most commonly hear that phrase. Como yo era de pequeño o como yo era de niño. What I was like when I was little or what I was like when I was a kid. And he encourages people to speak very, very slowly for you to understand, but there maybe have to be a couple of times to explain things. So I'm going to do some quick checks on your comprehension as we move along here. And let's move through the music. Oop.
Pues sí, hoy está mi madre aquí. Ha venido mi madre a Tailandia. Ahora
Oh, él vivía en Tailandia. He was living in Thailand at this time. Okay, see? So when you see Tailandia, they mean Thailand. See? Ha venido mi madre. My mother has come to Thailand.
está de viaje.
Está
en
de
Tailandia.
viaje. She's on vacation. She's traveling. Sí, está de viaje. So she has traveled there.
Y me va a ayudar.
wouldn't
Me va a
capitalize
ayudar a
Thailand?
grabar unos.
They would. Remember, this is an AI thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
So you will see errors in this because it's a it's an artificial intelligence
Yeah.
just plugging things in. So it's not him typing this stuff all exactly. It's an AI thing through YouTube. So you're right, little
Got it.
capitalizing is wrong. So sometimes there will be some little nuggets in here that will be wrong. Okay.
Los vídeos. Y hoy nos va a explicar una cosa de la que a las madres les gusta mucho hablar.
Oh, she's going to talk about things that moms like to talk about.
A las madres les gusta mucho explicar, contar cosas que le dan vergüenza a sus hijos. ¿No?
Oh, moms like to tell things. Contar is related to decir a little bit, but contar is to more tell a story. Perdón, we had a Zoom hiccup. We had a Zoom belch. And I'll have to restart that. So when somebody uses contar, right, what they're going to be like sharing all the details. Right? Contar is a more all-inclusive verb than decir. Decir is just telling like stuff, but contar is telling a story. Contar is telling the whole story. Okay. Contar cosas que le dan vergüenza. Things that embarrass their kids. And literally this means things that give embarrassment, that give shame to their children. So she's going to tell things that are embarrassing. Vergüenza is shame, which sounds super strong, but da vergüenza means to embarrass you.
Sí. Y pues explícame, Antonia, cuando yo era pequeño, yo era un niño, ¿qué tipo de niño era?
Bueno, de pequeño, muy pequeño, era un niño que no paraba quieto. Todo lo...
Oh, no paraba quieto. He was a kid, no paraba quieto. You gotta take a guess at that.
Okay.
Quieto means pretty much what you think.
He wasn't quiet.
Sí.
gonna-
Yeah, wouldn't sit still.
Mm.
Would not sit still.
lo tocaba.
No
Todas
estaba
las
quieto.
cosas.
Tocaba.
Todo tocaba.
Touching.
Touching everything. You got your hands on everything.
Tocaba todo.
Todas las cosas de adornos en la casa, desde el parque, sí, desde el parquecito, el parque de los niños pequeños, tiraba del mantel con toda la comida encima.
Oh, tiraba el mantel. Mantel es tablecloth.
Oh,
Tiraba el mantel.
Turning it?
pull down the tablecloth.
He would pull down the tablecloth con toda la comida encima with all the food
On top.
Oh,
on top.
I wouldn't.
And that is a magic trick. She's not talking about that. You know, oh, boom, yeah, and the food's all there. No, she doesn't mean that. Okay.
Ah, sí. Vale, cuando era muy pequeño,
Muy pequeño,
me
muy
gustaba
pequeño,
cogerlo
todo
todo.
lo tocabas.
Ujú. Era muy
Después-
travieso.
Travieso, mischievous.
Mm.
I was very mischievous.
Después, cuando ya eras un poco más grandecito,
Ujú.
Cuando eras un poco más grandecito, later when you were
A
Bigger.
little bit older?
a little bit bigger, and you notice she uses grandecito because she doesn't mean like really like 6 feet tall, which is probably what he is now. He's over 6 feet tall, you know. She doesn't really mean grandecito when you were a bigger little guy, right? So she uses that endearing term grandecito, a little bigger.
Sí, seguías igual, todo lo tocabas, todo lo preguntabas y a mí me hacía mucha gracia que las cosas como las veías tú, por ejemplo.
Oh, me hacía mucha gracia. Hacer gracia means it would, me hacía mucha gracia. It would make me laugh. It would strike me as very funny. Hacerle gracia is to strike somebody as being funny. Okay, so making them laugh in a good way. ¿Cómo las veías? How you would look at things, how you would see things, how you used to see things.
Desde el cochecito, ver un perro como un galgo, tipo galgo, y decir, ¡un caballo!
Galgo is a very specific term. You would see, but you know perro. So when we used to see a dog, but galgo is muy grande. Galgo, like a greyhound. That size. You know how big a greyhound is, see? Galgo. So like one of these really big dogs. And what did he used to call it?
A horse.
He would call it a horse. So this would make her laugh. Me hacía gracia. It would make me laugh. It would strike me as funny. He would say funny things.
No, tú en el carrito de bebé, en el carrito de bebé.
Vale,
Carrito de bebé, in carrito de bebé would be the stroller, right?
El perro te llevaba así, claro. Era muy grande y decías, un caballo.
Un galgo son los perros de carreras, ¿no?
Sí.
Que son así muy...
Perros de carreras, the racing dogs, yeah. Greyhounds, galgo.
Muy delgados,
sí,
corren mucho.
Son estilizados y...
And he's talking about the dogs, that son muy delgados, they're very thin, yeah. Corren mucho.
A lot, run.
They run a lot.
With style.
Sí, era un caballo.
Un caballo, un caballo. Bueno, un poco se parecen.
Sí.
Y era un niño...
They're a little alike, un poco se parecen, they kind of look alike, okay.
Niño que lloraba mucho.
No.
Oh, lloraba mucho. Did I used to
cry a lot?
Cry a lot.
No llorabas.
¿Y de bebé?
No, pero
¿De bebé tampoco?
De bebé solo cuando tenías hambre. Todo el día estabas pidiendo comida y comías como un zampabollos.
Comía mucho.
Comías mucho. Y mientras...
So you used to
eat a lot.
Eat a lot.
Estabas bien, no llorabas.
Y no era muy tiquismiquis con la comida.
No.
Tiquismiquis. No era muy tiquismiquis con la comida. Wow, see if you can guess what that means.
Picky eater. We had that before. Yeah.
You've had that before, but you're pero recuerdas, you remember, sí, tiquismiquis, picky eater, choosy eater.
¿No?
Tú te comías tu comida y después la de los demás, la de los adultos, todos los adultos llamándote para darte un poquito de su comida porque el niño se comía todo lo que le daban.
Como si fuera
the boy ate everything what they gave him. So everything that perdón otra vez. Wow, sorry again, guys. Getting some Zoom blips here. Let's go back. Okay. Lo siento.
Perro, ¿no? El perrito que todo el mundo le da comida. Toma, yo.
Sí, todo.
Yo era un niño ya de más mayor, cuando empecé a ir al colegio y tal. Yo tenía muchos amigos.
Sí, tenías amigos, pero te daban igual, podías irte con ellos. O si te decían, vente Pablo conmigo, jugar a mi casa, te ibas bien, pero si no, eras capaz de estarte solo jugando con los tentes durante horas y horas. No siempre te hacía falta estar con los niños.
Tenía tente, que son como unos
¿Tentes?
Lego, ¿no?
Sí, los Lego.
Como unos Lego. Y yo solo podía estar ahí jugando.
Muchas horas.
Yo me acuerdo que estaba en mi habitación jugando con coches, también con cochecitos, con rampas y tal.
Las rampas también te gustaban muchísimo.
Haciendo saltar a los coches.
Eso también te gustaba muchísimo y desde entonces... Yo a todos los niños pequeños que ahora le tengo que comprar un regalo, siempre le compro eso, porque sé que te encantaba.
Cochecitos y
con una rampa. Sí.
Bien. So what was his favorite little toy? Un juguete favorito.
Legos
Toy
and
cars?
Legos?
Legos
Like
and
con
Legos and
rampa,
cars.
con rampa.
Sí.
Yeah, the jump things, right?
Yeah.
Little kids throw those up there, sí. Y tenía amigos, pero no tenía que tener amigos todo el tiempo. So, you know, okay, you had friends, but you could play by yourself. And,
Hours.
you know, yeah, see? And of course, you know, the Lego thing, which for boys, of course, is always a big thing. The Legos and the cars. Okay.
Y comprárselo a los niños pequeños que se lo pasan pipa.
Sí.
Se lo pasan muy bien.
Pero también a veces iba con mis amigos,
Sí.
que eran niños de la misma calle, ¿no?
So I used to also go out with kids who were on the same street.
Sí, también salías a jugar con niños de la calle.
Me acuerdo que a
Sí, sí.
veces jugábamos a fútbol o iba a casa de mi amigo, jugábamos a videojuegos, o mi amigo jugaba y yo tenía que mirar, mirar cómo jugaba. Muy bien. Y yo de pequeño leía mucho.
Sí, muchísimo. Primero, sí,
And what is she saying that he used to do a lot now?
Read.
He used to read a lot.
todo te gustaba muchísimo leer. Primero, bueno, en tu colegio hacían una maratón, hacían una competición, creo que en segundo de primaria.
Sí, en la
Empezaron a
primaria.
hacer una competición a ver quién leía más libros. Y bueno, al principio ibas tú el primero, pero después no, porque después te empezaron a gustar retos como en vez de leer muchos libros, me voy a leer un libro gordo,
Libros más gordos.
más gordo, y así ya.
Oh, and they would have little competitions about reading, but then he would say that he wanted to read what kind of books?
Fat.
Books.
Fat books. Yeah, great big books. So maybe the number of books wasn't so important, but
How
más
fat.
gordo, ¿sí?
Pues quedaste el segundo.
Yo me acuerdo que teníamos en la pared todo un póster, una cartulina así muy grande, y ahí íbamos pegando cada libro que leíamos,
Ajá,
pegábamos un papel de diferente color.
en
¿no?
el colegio.
Sí, entonces veías quién iba ganando la carrera.
Eso no lo
And
sabía.
they would take like a little post-it note, but you know, stick papers on the wall for the books that they
No,
read.
no lo sabías.
Sabía que hacíais un concurso, pero no sabía cómo.
Ah, sí.
When they
Había
talk
los
about concurso, you know, it was a competition to see how many books the kids could read.
los nombres de cada alumno, y luego veías que íbamos avanzando, ¿no? Cada libro era un
Claro,
papel con el
claro.
nombre del libro.
Pero después empezaste a leerte libros gordos y ya pues no ganaste.